Hello, 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 everybody. We are here. Sorry, I have weird lighting happening. Hello, welcome to the card party. So, this is our usual Friend Friday, last Friday of the month. I usually have a card party. What's a card party, you ask? Well, the card party is an opportunity for you to ask me questions, and I will happily pull some cards for you. So I just want to make sure that everything is working because I was a little always like a random thing happening. So if you're able to hear me, see me, go ahead and pop in the chat, say hey. Also, if you have any questions, I would love to get them from you. Well, hello, Carrie. So nice to see you. I am going to pop on the screen just a little message for everybody as they come in to ask a question if they want to. Ask your questions in the chat. For some reason, none of this was working for me today. So, it's Friday. All right. So, while you all are coming in and thinking about whatever questions you may have for me, for the tarot, I will talk a little bit about what we did this week. And if you are new to Card Party, to Friend Friday, to being here, I am Mel Morris of Mel Morris Coaching. And we are live every Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern, Fridays at 6 o'clock. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been working through learning life lessons through the tarot cards. And so in my coaching work, I use tarot to really help women connect with their intuition, with finding the answers to whatever questions they have, because you already have the answers. I'm just here to kind of help guide you through that process, help to hear those lessons for yourself. And I feel so naked. I don't have my necklace on, any necklaces on today. But we're going to go with it. So this week, I will show you with my magical alternate camera setting. Can I get them all in? We'll look at them a little separately. I got a different camera, so maybe you guys can see a little bit better what the cards are. Let's just do one at a time. So this week, we talked about this week's cards started with the Lovers, and the Lovers cards we talked all about. We talked about the idea of choice as it relates to things bigger than ourselves. So the previous life lessons, we've been learning about connecting with our own intuitions. We've talked about, connecting with intuition, connecting with the feminine, with the masculine, creating structure, creating spiritual structure, not necessarily religion, sometimes religion, but creating a structure in which we can always kind of refer back to. And then this week, that kind of all those previous lessons come together with the Lovers. So again, the Lovers card is the first opportunity where we're really thinking about ourselves in a larger context, not just us getting stronger and growing, but us getting stronger and growing so that we can live in this connected world, right? And so the lesson of the Lovers really is about how are you prepared internally and externally to now make these connections with other people, whether it is a partnership, an intimate partnership as seen here in the Lovers card, or whether it's, friends, business partners, things like that. This is really about finding that beautiful balance with yourself so that you can really make full connections with others. Okay. So once we get that lesson from the Lovers, And again, I'll say if you are here and you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat, and I will pull some cards when I've got some questions for y'all. So next we moved on to the Chariot this week, and the message of the Chariot is about, taking action, right? All the last lessons that we've learned was about, kind of learning and growing and processing information. And the Chariot really is like, okay, it's time to stop playing around, and it's time to take some action, right? It's no longer time to, make a plan, think about what you're going to do. Now is the time for you to just start moving, right? And this deck in particular, there is a, you know, all the tarot decks are a little bit different. So in this particular deck, there's this lotus flower that is kind of in bloom, and that's really indicative of your intuition, again, that connection to that which is bigger than you, your higher self. And so the cards really want you to, sorry, my camera's doing a thing. So the Chariot really wants you to use your intuition, use all these things that you've been learning, processing, planning, use them to really start moving forward, right? And, again, we talked about choice here, right? You've made a choice. Now it's time for you to run with it, right? Maybe it'll be a great choice, maybe not. Either way, you have to make a choice. You have to start moving. That's really the message there for the Chariot. And then the last lesson that we really focused on this week is that of strength. And just, the Chariot really represented taking action externally, moving forward, doing things to keep moving forward, again, in more of an actual physical sense. Whereas the strength card is much more internal, right? The strength lesson is much more about learning to tame that energy within, right? Learning to not just move frenetically because you can. Okay, Carrie. Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to share all the knowledge. The strength card is about finding. Let me see if I can zoom in just a smidge on her. Yeah. Just because there's a lot of detail in that card. But it's really about taming like your inner beast, right? It's about taming, again, you've made your choices, right? With the Lovers, you're moving forward again, you're engaging in the world bigger, more than just yourself. Then the Chariot is like, okay, you've made these decisions, you made these plans, let's start moving. And then strength is, not only reminding you that you have the actual strength to move forward in those decisions, in those plans, but also to remind yourself internally, right, to really believe in yourself, believe that you have not just the ability to make these things happen, but you have the courage, you are allowing yourself the opportunities to really connect with the choices that you've made as you move forward. And whether you are kind of off the rails with excitement, or, sometimes in a negative way, right? We get too caught up in what we're doing, or in instances where we're kind of stuck, where we're not, we're moving, right? We're sort of moving, but we're not really clear about what it is we're doing or what we're trying to do. Strength is letting you know that, you have that ability, that you have the capacity to convince yourself, remind yourself of what you can do, what you're all about. You can do that with others too, right? You can also show others as you're, having this movement here with the Chariot. You also have the ability to persuade other people to start to acknowledge what you're doing, acknowledge that movement. And so strength is about, specifically the woman in this card, not the lion, right? She has tamed that part of herself, right? She's writing it, freely, openly. She's showing the world that, I got this. I'm moving fast, and I'm confident in the fact that I have chosen to take these movements to move forward. Okay. So those were the lessons that we talked about this week. And, I'd love to hear if anybody had a chance to see the cards for Tarot Tuesday as they were kind of laid out, and some of the language around if any of this resonates with you. I know Carrie mentioned that, yes, there is kind of it's funny, I was just writing something else regarding Jesus. So I was just thinking of like a come to Jesus moment, that, that phrase of when something just kind of washes over you, it's meant for you. I'll actually be talking about this a little bit next week in the newsletter. So if you don't get our newsletter, I encourage you to subscribe to the newsletter. I'll be talking about a little epiphany that I had a couple of days ago. So these are the messages. If you had any other aha moments with that, I'd love for you to let me know, chime in there. And again, ask any questions, because now I'll switch back over to me. Ta-da! And just ask again. This is the time where hi Wanda. This is a time where I've got my cards here. I'm opening it up to all of you watching to take a moment and think about, what's going on in your life right now that you have questions about, that you want to check in on energy around, that you're just not quite sure about. I'd love to hear your questions. I'd love for you to, again, it's not necessarily a black or white, yes or no, do they love me? Am I going to get this job? But just, checking in on energy around what's happening. So what I'll do, because I know last time we came here to do this, people were a little bit shy. I don't know why. I'm a pretty open person, pretty fun. And so no need to be shy here. If there's something on your mind, something on your heart that you want me to check in around, I'm happy to pull some cards for you. And so what I'll do to just kind of start things off is I will, I'm going to ask of the cards kind of a message to leave you all with today as you're here. And again, you can pop your questions right into the chat. If you see this later on a replay and you had a question that you weren't able to kind of get in here for, pop it in. I will check back in. But I'll ask about, what's the message that I guess I want all of you who watch this to have. And I'll put it on the screen for everybody. Actually, I'll let you look at this for a minute without me. And I'd love for you to kind of say, kind of look and see what you see here in the cards, what jumps out at you, whether it's colors, whether it's the actual image, what you really notice the most. And you can pop that into the chat too. So I'm just adjusting the color a little bit because it seems super bright on the screen. Maybe it's just my screen, but so this is, okay, let me switch back to both. So this is the 10 of Wands, right? So, we, throughout these weeks and the lessons, I talk about the major arcana, and those are, one part of the tarot called the major arcana, and those are the big life lessons, right? The minor arcana, or the suits that are within the tarot cards, are still lessons, but they're the more day-to-day lessons that we have to learn, that we kind of go through and experience in order to learn the big life lessons that we get in the major arcana. So the minor arcana is broken into four suits, and these wands are one of those suits. So wands are, again, we talked about action. Wands are all about the actions that you're taking, not how you feel about it, not what you're thinking about it, but specifically the actions that you're taking. Okay, so the tens, right? So they're numbered 1 through 10, and then there's court cards. But 10 is about not just completion. Tens are about completion and preparation to kind of begin again. Okay. Um, so when you put those two together in a general sense, right, it's about taking actions that are going to prepare you to close out what you've been doing, to really be fully ready for what's next. Okay. So the Ten of Pentacles can be, it can feel like a very heavy card, because it is about, taking the action of collecting like a lot of shit you've been doing, really wrapping all those things up. And, I think about this card, I think of the harvest, right? And I have a friend, Katie, who she and her husband actually do farming. And I've never been on a farm for anything other than maybe like a wine tour. But I've never harvested anything. But this is kind of that harvest card where we're gathering in, um, you know, we're we're clearing the path. We're bringing in what we're reaping what we've kind of put out there, what has grown. But you have to not only pull it in because you need it, right? You grew these things for a reason, but it's also to prepare for the next season, right? For the next growing cycle. And so that can be a lot of work, right? That's really difficult to kind of sit down with yourself and do the actual work of preparing for what's next. And so, again, I asked about, my message for you all. And, to me, it really is that this is the time, not just to think about the work that you're doing right now, not just in terms of, okay, I got to make this plan, I got to make things happen, I got to blah, 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 to really think about the work that you're putting in right now in two parts. One part being, um, you've worked on something for a long time. You've planned, you've prepared, it's grown. You have to acknowledge, right, that yay, it's done. That season of my life, of that work, of whatever that was, even in a relationship, I've put in the work to grow whatever, to grow that, right? Yay, celebrate that, acknowledge that, but also remembering that now is the time that, yeah, I got to pull all that back in, but it's for a reason, right? I'm not just harvesting. I'm not just doing all this hard work for nothing, right? I'm doing this for a purpose. And now my purpose is reaping, pulling in, harvesting all of what I've been doing so that I can move on to the next step, right? So, even for myself, not, thinking about it, not just in terms of like, have I been spinning my wheels? Have I, is what I've been doing, does it make sense? But it's also just that idea of the things that you've done before, right? Whatever has happened, you have to pull that in. You have to harvest that. You have to pull in what you got from it, acknowledge it, and know that it's preparing you for what's next, right? So that's kind of the message here is, acknowledge what you've been doing, harvest it, and know, like, remember your why. Remember why you've been doing this work. Why, even if you feel stuck, if you feel like things aren't working the way that you'd hope that they would, they happened the way they were supposed to. And that was in preparation for what's next, right? It's not a time to just stop and, oh, it's done, it's over with. No, right? It's now collecting so that you can prepare for what's next. Okay. So I'd love to hear what you think about that. So Carrie has a question. How should I handle dealing with my family at Christmas? How can I keep love and respect with possible disagreements? I mean, so ain't that the truth, right? Let me switch while I shuffle, so you're not just looking at that blank screen. And I'll actually, boom. There's your question, Carrie. That's a super cute picture of you too. So how should I handle dealing with my family at Christmas time? And how can I keep love and respect with possible disagreements? So, I've said, I don't know, every way I possibly can say that 2020 has been a complete dumpster fire, a complete shit show on so many levels for anybody who is, I don't know, at all aware of what's happening in the world of politics, of civil rights, of engaging with other people, whether it's around said politics or talking about COVID and it really being a thing, or even before this year, right? Holidays can also always kind of bring out the worst in people. And people wanting to be right, wanting to give their opinion, whether it's solicited or not. So the holidays can be really tricky. And I think this year, more than years past, is we're really going to see that. So let's see, Carrie. Let's see. Thank you for that question. All right. This is a different deck than I showed originally, but you must have been paying attention. Wait, I'm going to take your message off and I'm going to switch the camera because we have the Lovers card again. So, so I showed you this is the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. Man, it's so bright. This is the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck. I don't want to make it too dark, but I also want you to actually see the images here. So Carrie, I'm going to switch camera angle so that you can look just at the card. Oh my gosh, it's so bright. While I'm adjusting the color, Carrie, I'd love for you to tell me, and you can just type in like the first thing that jumps out at you, images, colors, pictures, a feeling, whatever you first notice, you can pop in. I am just trying to see if I can make this not look so incredibly bright. That's crazy because this card is really not that bright. So while you're doing that, I will. All right, so let's see. Purple and the clouds, yes. So the Lovers card, and I'll switch back so you can see us both. It's crazy how bright this card looks. One day, folks, one day you're going to watch this and the colors are going to just be great. It doesn't matter what stupid camera I'm using. It's going to look great. I spend more energy fighting with camera colors. So the Lovers card, as I was just talking about, and this is the Lovers card that we were looking at for this week. And you can see that there's, a lot of differences, again, between decks, but the messaging is the same. So in general, and then I'll point out what Carrie noticed specifically, which for me is the important thing. So again, the Lover's card is about choices. It is about choosing how you want to engage with other people, right? Who you want to be in the bigger context of the world. Sorry, my nose itches. And it is a large life lesson, right? And so again, the first thing I would say is to think about, hey, Roxanne, I will get to your question in just a sec. So first I would say that, again, Lovers is about you thinking about who you want to be in the context of your family, right? At the holidays. It's less about how they're going to show up because you have no control over that. It's more about how you want to show up in that moment with folks who may just want to be right about something, right? In this particular deck, again, you see this angelic figure symbolized technically in the card, symbolizes an image of Gabriel and the one who kind of harkens people forward. So for you to notice really like the clouds and this image that has emerged is, and the fact that you notice the purple that he's wearing. I mean, all of those pieces really have to do with, again, your intuition. If you think about your chakras, right? And we saw it in the other deck, we saw it in symbolized here, right? Again, our intuition, our crown chakra. This is about asking yourself in the moment, right? Again, who you want to be in those conversations, right? Yes, you could have debates with people and you could be upset and you can, argue and debate if you want to. And maybe that's what needs to happen at that moment. Maybe there is a message that you need to share with someone that they wouldn't otherwise hear. But in that moment, I would say, think about what your intuition, what that little voice inside is telling you how to proceed, how, that voice is going to tell you the best steps for you at that moment, right? It's going to tell you like, okay, Carrie, is this how you want to show up today? Or is this how you want to show up today? Right? Because it's much less important, again, what anybody else wants to do, who they want to be. You have to be true to yourself. And sometimes it is uncomfortable if you are in a space where like you want to share what your truth is. You want to share a message that is on your heart. And other people might not want to hear that. But I mean, that's their problem, right? You have to focus on who you want to be, the choice of who you want to be in that moment with your family, is really what the Lover's card is kind of indicating for you. I hope that helps. I'd love for you to let me know. Yeah, be you, girl. Aside from tarot, be you. That's my message. Be you all the time, right? No matter who you're around, you be you. Plus, you're awesome. So why wouldn't you want to just be you all the time? Okay. So I hope that helped, Carrie. All right. So next, I see Roxanne here. And Roxanne, I'm going to pull your question up as well. So also a beautiful picture. Roxanne says, I want to know what can I expect in terms of career growth in the next few months? Good. Yeah, I mean, that's the other challenge for a lot of folks is, as we think about, globally what the world has to offer right now, how we're all dealing with this pandemic. And, there's just so much energy around what's next, what might be next, and how we want to grow, because we're still trying to grow. We still want to be great people. We still have dreams and goals, even if Corona doesn't want us to live our best life. Let's see, Roxanne. Okay. All right, Roxanne, I'm going to switch you over here. Wrong screen. I'm going to have you look at this card first, Roxanne. Let me take your question off. And I'd love for you to tell me what jumps out at you in the cards, what you notice first, whether it's an image, whether it's a color. Man, I just don't know how I can make it not so bright, but still be able to see it. I'm going to stop playing with it. Yeah, so tell me what jumps out at you, what you notice. You don't create a story about what you think it means, just what you see. Again, image, colors. I know it's kind of hard to tell the colors with this ridiculous light, but I will come back to, if you were here when I talked about the Suit of Wands, let you know that this is a minor arcana card in the Suit of Wands. Let me switch over here. Yes, a person who's moving. Good. So again, the wands are the suit of action, right? And so we just saw, well, I shuffled it now, but we saw the 10 of wands before in my message to everyone about how to really harvest the things that you've been doing, and in order to prepare for what's next. After that, there's a page who looks for information, and then there's the knight. And so knights are about, if you think of stories of like a knight in shining armor, right? They're the people who kind of come in to save the day. They're the people who look out for protecting other people, they're the protectors. I'll just use that word. And again, as it relates in this context to action, right? So traditionally, in general, the Knight of Wands is that energy of either a person or yourself kind of coming in to save the day, like taking actions to come in and save the day, right? So for Roxanne, what you noticed was, oh, hey, Mary, how you doing, girl? What Roxanne noticed was the person, the knight on the horse actually moving. And so, yes, taking action. So when you ask the question about, what you can expect in the next few months, I mean, it looks like I don't necessarily see this as an actual moving, like changing careers or changing jobs, but there is this energy of being on the move, of moving forward towards, taking actions, more opportunities for you to take action, to, I don't want to say save the day, but, I almost feel like there's, I'm wondering, I'm kind of getting this sense that there is a way in which, there's a way in which you are, you've maybe been quiet about something at work. Maybe has been or is, again, kind of coming up as your question, that there's something that you could be much more vocal about, right? You could kind of step up a little bit more and give a suggestion or a new way to do something that can really make, that could really make a difference. That maybe in the past you've been, a little nervous to do that. Maybe you thought it wasn't your place. Maybe you haven't had the opportunity to really, again, kind of step out there and be brave enough, and have a space where you can feel like you're making a difference. But I feel like there is something that is on the horizon that you will help to, I mean, the word save does keep popping up into my head, but I feel like there is something coming up that you're going to be taking action on where you get to be much more in charge than in the past. You are going to put yourself in a position of taking on more responsibility or being more vocal about how you want to move forward. And, you know, what that looks like for you in your job, I'm not sure, but I definitely see the opportunity for you, and you see the opportunity for you in that person moving, of taking charge, of moving forward, of not just standing still. And so I will say that if there's something that you feel like you want to change, if there's something that you're not happy with, or you see a better way to do, that now is the time for you to step up and say, okay, you know what? Here's another way we could do this, right? Here's a better way, an easier way, a more cost-effective way, whatever it is. I feel like there's more that you now are going to feel emboldened enough to do, to speak out, to say. Let me know if that makes sense for you. I hope that's helpful. Um, I looked underneath the deck, so I'm going to give you this card too, so that you can kind of see it. Sometimes when I pull cards, I like to look what's underneath, right? Kind of what's behind a particular situation. And Roxanne, if you can see this, I'd love for you to tell me as well, kind of what you see in this card, what jumps out at you. Um, Even though again it's super bright, let me give you just that for just a second. Good. I'm glad it's helpful. Yeah, let me know, Roxanne, what you see in here. I'm just curious. And again, this being the what's underneath this situation here. So while you look at it, I will switch back. So this card, this is the Seven of Cups card. So Wands. So yes. So Roxanne, tell me. I see you put, it looks like trophies. Tell me what jumps out at you. Like if there's a particular image, a particular image, color, feeling that kind of jumps out at you of one of these options, or just anything in the deck. Go ahead and pop that in as well. So in general, cups, again, they're minor arcana. It's another suit. Cups is all about emotions, right? So unlike the wands, which are just actions, the cups are just about how we are feeling, our emotions around whatever the situation is, right? Sevens are about, I would say sevens are also about not just kind of taking charge, but that kind of energy of, five energy is like, oh, things need to change. Like there's this desire for things to kind of always be in flow. Once you get to sevens, I feel like it's more about making choices, about still looking at the changes and the options that are out there, but making some choices around them. So, as far as, and I was just curious if there was one that jumped out more than the other for Roxanne, but for me, I feel like the Seven of Cups is really as an underneath the situation card. I feel like that maybe there are some new options that you've had, Roxanne. Maybe there are some new things that have come up for you that have you questioning, like, what's next for me? Maybe you've seen other opportunities where you could change things and go this direction or that direction. And maybe that's maybe that's where the question is kind of coming from. But it's interesting for you that what you saw, again, for me, that's what's most important. What you saw were trophies, right? And so trophies, if we go back to the Knight of Wands and you taking charge and you stepping up at work and being the quote unquote savior, right? The one who comes in and saves the day, then that trophies would definitely indicate to me as an underneath, that maybe you really haven't been feeling noticed as much as you would like to. Maybe, people haven't really, kind of applauded the work that you're doing. And a part of you has been looking for that. Maybe, because that hasn't happened, you feel like, you know what, maybe I could be doing something different. And so again, for me, I do feel like, this, that there is, I definitely feel like there is something at work, something that you are going to be bringing to the table that is really needed, that is going to be helpful, is going to be really helpful to get things moving at work. And you're going to feel really good about being the person to be able to do that. So again, I hope that helps. That was more curiosity on my behalf. So thank you for that. All right, let's see. Let me change this view. And again, if you've got questions, let's see. So I then see, Sincera. Tell me if I pronounced that right. I'm going to pop your question over here. Oh, that's a nice picture of all those beautiful ladies. Wanting to know if I will have my own kids. Good. Roxanne. Oh, okay, good. All right. You are very welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. I do appreciate it. All right. Wanted to know if I will have my own kids. Well, I will say that I don't know that the cards will answer, the cards don't love yes or no's. I hate to try to give like definitive answers to things. So what I'm going to be concentrating on and thinking about for you is that energy around children, around having children, how that will feel for you. I don't know we don't know each other. We're new friends now that you're here today. We're friends now. We're stuck. And so I don't know your particular situation, but I'm going to just ask about that energy around having kids, what that feels like for you. And I will try to think about that, my own kids. I'll give you one more. All right. Okay. I'm going to give you the card, just the card for a moment. And I'd love for you, let me take this down. Oh my gosh. I'm so mad about how bright these cards are. I need like a little. So I'd love for you, Sincera, to, so I'm trying to shade this somehow, but I can't make it. Oh, that helps a little bit. So I'd love for you to just take a look at the card. Again, tell me what jumps out at you, any particular image, color, a feeling that you get when you look at the cards, and pop it in to the chat. Let's see. Oh, that helps a little bit. Okay. And let's see. Let me switch me back onto the screen. Good. Okay. So this again, we're seeing a lot of action cards today. So this is the Four of Wands. So again, wands are all about taking action, and um let's see, since there's that, I'm always surrounded by them. I ran my own daycare, and people's kids are always instantly attached to me. Um, that's a beautiful gift to have. I mean, I love babies. I love to have kids around. It was difficult not being with my babies this year for Thanksgiving. So I really just kept myself like occupied yesterday, so I didn't have to miss them as much. Though I did end up baking a lot of cookies. So if anyone's in the Charlotte area and needs some snacks, come on over and get them. Okay, let's see. It's a warm feeling, instantly focused on the two people. Okay, so fours are all about stability, right? And this card, again, I guess I'll preface this a little bit and again say that I don't like the yeses and nos are not a thing that I would say that I do, but I will say that this card is a card of celebration. It is a card of stability, of celebrating an event, right? So whether it's, the birth of a child or, oh my goodness, well, if you want some cookies, come on over and get you some cookies because I made way too many. So this is a card of celebrating stability. So if we're looking at it from the context of, your family, you creating a family, having children, it's interesting. And I know it's really hard to see. I don't know if I can zoom in any on this without it being too difficult to see. But there are actually people in the background. It's over a smidge. So it's funny, I noticed that to me, at least at first, kind of looked like, oh, there was like little kids in the background. And it made me think of what you said there, that you ran a daycare and that there's always kids around you. So as much as this card definitely is like a celebration card, it is a card that shows happiness and shows um, kind of a congratulatory spirit. It is interesting that the people, the kids, the children in this card are still kind of far away. So there you go. So I don't know that means, maybe down the road that will happen for you. But either way, it's a card of celebration. It's a card of finding like a real happiness in the fact that you can create stability in your life. And if for you having children around is something that feels like it would create, the stability in your life, then yeah, I mean, that's definitely, a pathway forward. But I feel more the message is about finding happiness and stability first. Tell me if that makes sense. I feel like, and again, we don't know each other yet. But I feel like there's an upcoming event. Something is going to be happening that's going to feel really good for you. That's going to feel like you're in a much more stable place. Either it's kind of just happening or it's going to be coming soon. And I feel like that's going to be more your focus right now. Like that's the more important thing for you to focus on, the actions of finding stability in in your life right now, right? And whether that's with a partner, um, or you know, yeah, I almost feel like, huh, I almost feel like, I don't know if you or someone around you is like getting married or moving in together. But I feel like there is some stability that is coming, or has recently come, or will be coming into your life, that you're going to feel like, I'm in this really good space, right? And whether or not children are going to come from that, I feel like that's the more important thing right now for you. I mean, I know your question was about your own children, and I'm not trying to minimize that, but I feel like once you're able to create and fully feel and celebrate that stability that you have created, then you will be in that position to incorporate next steps with children, right? Let me know if that makes sense for you. We are trying to move to a new place. It's a big deal for us right now. Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely feel like that component, like that's the thing that needs to be your focus. And again, I mean, I see a celebration. Um, I see you creating something that feels really solid, for yourself. And again, once you are in that space, that you have that stability, that you feel comfortable in that, that's what's going to open up the door for so much more. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense for you. So, and yeah, feel free to DM me. I'm happy to give you my address to get some cookies, child. So, so good. I hope that really helps you. And I'd love for you to stay in touch and let me know how things go. I will also tell you, if you're looking to buy a house, my wife is a realtor. So if you need any help with that, I will throw in a little bid for her as well. She's pretty awesome. So I'm happy to make that connection. So good. All right. So I don't think I had any other questions right now. Let me just look back. I don't want to miss anybody. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. I don't see any other questions. So good. So, a couple of things that I'll let you know before we head out. So let me switch over here. Okay, so right now, our Black Friday sale, if you want to check out the website, melmorriscoaching.com, you can either go there, or in the group on the webpage. I am running my first Black Friday sale. So if you book, um, my girl Janella is on it. Let's see if I can pull on the screen. Oh, boop, there you go. So if you are interested in booking a 1 hour session with me, where we can just sit down, similar to here, we really focus on what's going on in your life right now, the energies, and, focusing on kind of the next steps of what's going on. I am running a sale right now through Sunday, where if you book there's a code. If you go online, you can get $50 off that session. That's going to run through Sunday. And let's see what else. Next week, let's see. I saw another. So yes, I would definitely encourage you to, and the link will be in the comments, so you can click right on it and it will take you to get more information. So I would encourage you to do that. I don't, yeah, we haven't run any sales, quote unquote, before. So it's exciting. I know people are spending money on, lots of things right now, but I think it's important, again, with the first message being finding some clarity for yourself right now, finding ways to, harvest what you've put out there and to prepare for what's next. I think it's a great time for you to stop and think about, am I prepared for what's next? And would love to sit down with you and help you figure that out a little bit. Next week, let's see, next week, I will have a great guest next Friday. We'll announce it tomorrow. I like for you to wait. I like to keep it a little secret. Um, and so um, I have another cool friend that'll be here next Friday at this time for Friend Friday. She's a lot of fun. You're going to love her. So make sure to come back next Friday. As always, on Wednesday, we have Wednesday Woo at 2. And so that is exclusively in our WTF group. So if you're not already in the group, make sure you join us in, again, WTF with Mel. Make sure you come on into the group, and exclusively in that group on Wednesdays, I go live and we talk more about the lessons that we've been learning for the week as far as the major arcana goes and learning those life lessons. So join us over there. What else? Um, I think that's it. I'm so excited that you all were here today. You know how to reach out to me. You know how to connect. Go to the website, find me here on Facebook or Instagram. Again, book your sessions now before Sunday and get that great discount. That's like a third off the price, just FYI. But yeah, if you've got any other questions, let me know. Send them to me. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you all next week. Make sure to stay magical. Have a great one.